Alright, so for the activity section of this, I just wanted to show what these steps might look like in action. So I've got a little dummy account here under the name of Susan Paul that I've set up a basic profile, so it'll look something like this. Now when you first get started, you're not going to have any boards yet, and so they'll have a clear button here for you to create your first board. You can do that and give it a name, and then it'll show up as empty because you won't have any pins in it, and we'll talk about that later about automating that process. But you can see that under Susan's account here, I've got running inspiration, mom stuff, marathon training, crock pot recipes, all this sorts of things. So somebody who's an active mom. And then I've got 168 people that I'm following, so I went in and followed a bunch of boards related to the concepts that I'm going to be pinning about and all of those sorts of things. But this really passes the eyeball test, and that's what doing these beginning steps are all about. You want this to look real, whether it's you or your business name or website name, where maybe you have your logo here instead of your face or whatever. But I've got like real boards with real pins that actually have value. And then if I were to click on, if somebody were checking this out, I want to see who they're following. A lot of this stuff is about fitness and different moms and stuff like that Susan is following, and so again, looks very legit. All right, and so that helps you as time goes by when you're applying to be on group boards. This is what people want to see. It's kind of like with a spam website or something, or like a really heavy fishy looking affiliate site. You look at it and you're like, oh, and you go back and hit the back button. So people will do the same thing unless your profile looks nice, and so that's what this is all about. So go ahead and start creating those boards, start following some people, and let me just show you how to do that real quick. So if I had done fitness tips for moms, by default this searches just pins on Pinterest, but if I click this little drop down here, you can search boards or people instead. And so this is how you can very quickly go about following some boards. So here's a board called Fitness Tips for Moms. And by the way, remember what I said in the earlier video about not using weird funny names for your boards? Here's a perfect example. I type in Fitness Tips for Moms. What are the names of the first 3 boards that show up? Fitness Tips for Moms. And so that's why it's important to be keyword focused with your board names, because it absolutely matters as far as Pinterest is concerned. But I could follow this, follow this, follow this, all this stuff that's relevant to me, and that's how you would start building out a real looking profile.